Hey guys, this is Maharachi, brand strategist and founder of ManuFracture, here with another episode of Ambitions of an Agency. And today I'm going to tell you about, niching, sub-niching, really something I've starting to figure out what is working within my business at the moment. Yeah, to get started really, everyone in the design industry, you know, from like all the way from Pentagram, Landor, the big ones, Collins, all these stuff, someone in, the UK, all these big companies, all they say is they do branding design work, right? So, but they do it for a wide variety of audiences, right? A wide variety of people, right? Someone was doing, the agency, someone was doing, uh, work for what is it? Funeral homes. They do work for like government. There was even trains at some point, like a train line. So at any point in time, these people, these huge agencies, these big consultancy firms, all they do is they go off their experience and their work and obviously their reputation in the market of what they have. So they're able to cover a wide expanse, right? And basically, cover all their bases, cover everything, right? They'll do design for any industry, and any industry will believe for them to be the right solution. Then you have people who niche even further down. So take a specific, they take a specific, what is it, industry. Let's say restaurants, bars, whatever. In my case, real estate, whatever. Right? They take a take a very small niche out, and they say, okay, well, since this is the whole market, maybe we need to make it even smaller, the amount of people that we talk to, so that it's more effective, right? Because when you're a small company like me or like any small agency out there, it's going to be hard to say and command the same respect as Pentagram, as Landor, as any other big agency out there, right? They've done their time, they've done their work, and they've built market leadership, and that's what they're going on, right? That's the only competitive advantage they have. Sometimes Pentagram puts out shit work, absolute like design garbage. That if I actually made and presented to an actual designer or whatever, like a portfolio review or whatever, they would probably think it's shit. But because it's attached to Pentagram or Landor, it's fine. Prestige comes, with a lot of benefits, right? But so if you're a small agency like me or whatever, right? You're one, two, three people, whatever. You don't have that manpower, to cover all those bases, and you don't have all that, again, that reputation to pull that off. So what do? You go for the outcome, right? You go for the outcome. What can you do that brings value to businesses more than all these big agencies can bring just prestige and and reputation, right? What can you bring that's better than that competitive advantage, right? And like I was saying is like in I think it was in the last video, the rant video or whatever, is that you have to think about the customer and the value to the customer. So what is the value to the customer, right? Is it really the experience? Is it the prestige? Well, no, because with the experience, the prestige, it means that there's assurance that the project will go well. So that's the value that Pentagram or any big agency gives them assurance, right? But they go off prestige, because it's also pretty cool. It's a branding thing. So that being said, as a small agency, you can't cut through that noise if you're going to just say you're for everyone, right? Everyone is going to say that. Everyone's going to say their branding. Everyone's going to say their brand. But then you come into an even different problem. So you go and you say, well, okay, so there's a bigger market out there. I can't appeal to everyone. Let me niche down. So you niche down. You say, I want to do for restaurants and bars. I want to do it for real estate. Like I want to do it for technology companies. I want to do it for startups. I want to do it for small businesses, right? Still very, very, very general. And you're gonna be like, what the hell, Mario? What do you mean very general? Like, that's a niche. Real estate, bars, restaurants, like, these are companies that are different. Like, this is a niche, I shouldn't go in there. It's like, yeah, sure. But that's still not as specific as a niche as you want it to be. You see, the world is so immense with so many people that you'd be actually surprised how many niches have actually are saturated, and how many niches have, basically noise in them. So if you're saying, I am, for, real estate companies, ha, there are so many real estate companies out there. Tons. There's tons of agencies for real estate companies. There's tons of um, agencies for restaurant owners, wine companies, whatever, right? It spans the gamut, spans all these type of people. So what you have to really do is to cut really, really deep. And this is only, I believe, you can only do this in the beginning. You go for the very, very specific, right? And actually, Amazon is a good example of this. Amazon, you know, you could have done, it could have sold to everyone in the beginning. But the thing is, it started first with book owners or bookstore people who love books, right? And at that time, that was a viable niche because everyone who was just trying to get into e-commerce at the time was, or was, even trying to, do retail, was in huge amounts, was just pushing huge amounts of, random stuff, right? So noise again. So Amazon comes in and just does books, just does books. Yeah, you could get a book, you know, order a book online, the book's delivered to you. Very simple, right? So that simplification of a message helped Amazon cut through the market in the beginning of their infancy as a company. Right now, they do everything, right? But in the beginning, they cut through it through very specific, right? At that time, book lovers were some people that were just they weren't noticed, right? And anybody would love to get a book in the mail or whatever at that time, right? Because you'd have to go to the bookstore, you have to do all this stuff, right? But you could get the book right there and then. Not bad, right? So yeah, going back. So you have to do sub niches. Now the market has changed that you can't even do like regular niches. You have to do sub niches. And what are sub niches? Sub niches are niches within niches, right? You think a niche is so easy to understand. You think, the wine industry, the restaurant industry, what is it? The real estate industry, they're all the same, right? I mean, think about it. It's just the blanket, right? If they're real estate, they're real estate. What matters which real estate company, it is, right? What matters what restaurant type it is, right? Oh, it matters because that's where your noise, your messaging, your positioning as an agency becomes noise. So you have to think to yourself, so what's deeper than real estate? What's deeper than restaurants, right? In my case, real estate, right? You see, most of my videos, they've been geared toward real estate. It's okay, right? But not as good. And right, and you saw my beginning positioning statement is like, real estate brokerages. Okay, but that's not enough. So what's deeper in real estate? How many sections of real estate do you have? And by going through my sales calls and by going through all these things, I've picked up patterns and found different niches within niches. So there's luxury real estate. There's commercial real estate. There's residential real estate. There are people that are lawyers for real estate companies. There are people who are developers. So there are people who don't sell real estate but build and develop sites and buildings of their own cause. So they're basically an entrepreneur in the pure sense. There's lenders, people who lend money to developers and investors. There's property management companies. You see how there's so many people within a certain industry, but it's like an ecosystem. They're interconnecting parts, right? So the lenders want to sell their services to developers. The developers want to get in touch with investors so they can get more tenants, right? Commercial real estate brokers want to broker an exchange between investors or tenants to get to the owner or to get inside a building or use a building, lease out a building, whatever it may be. So, the lawyers want to, the developers want lawyers to help them with their contracts when they're doing a development. There's a ton of paperwork to be signed whatsoever. So there's interconnecting parts. It's an ecosystem. So figure out where your design services or where your own services really, because this applies to any industry, where your own services fit within helping those industries out, and really validate that through the market, really validate that through, you speaking to these types of people and speaking to these different types of people from the different parts of the industry, right? It's not even just your target audience, right? It's these people that are interconnected with your target audience, right? Manufacturers, suppliers, restaurant owners, they have suppliers too, grocery stores, cooks, what do they use? There's a ton of stuff, right? I gave you just one example about real estate, but you can probably make that example, that interconnecting graph on everything. So yeah, so mainly when you do stuff, this is just a quick diagram, if you can see it. Terrible. I should probably learn how to edit. Oh boy. So basically, so you have the market here. It's just a big ass circle. And then you have, a niche here. It's a smaller, but even more is the sub niches, the smaller ecosystems that, basically make, part of the niche, right? Think of the market as basically, just a globe, right? And then think about the niche as a person. And then think about the sub-niche as basically your blood, your veins, your heart, your organs. Just they make up a system of, that you build the industry, that, make it a reality. So yeah, that's really it, and that's what's been working for me so far. I've been getting more calls, I've been getting more inquiries, much more response. The noise is less after I've niched down in commercial real estate. And in the next few videos, you're probably going to see more of my niching down. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope that you got some really good value out of this video, and I hope you continue to learn with me and whatever. And yeah, just the notification buttons, all that stuff. Subscribe if you want more, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.